Well, hello, and welcome, friends. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneurs Institute live show. And we are back for the final episode of the year. Can you believe it? And friends, let me tell you, we have got an amazing show planned for you today. My name is Damian Johnson, as you may already know, and I am here with my business partners and friends, fellow BEI co-founders, Angela Hooper Manyfield, Dr. Nicole Rankin, and then none other than Mr. Cedric LaFleur. How are you all doing this evening?
Always great.
Doing wonderful.
Muy excelente.
Okay.
Well, good thing. So guys, we are just 2 days away from the end of 2020, and it's hard to imagine it. But here's what I know. I think it's safe to say that 2020 has been the year of the unexpected. We all know people who were able to pivot and thrive in the midst of the pandemic, and they took advantage of the opportunities in the midst of adversities. But at the same time, we all know people that may have incurred loss. For some of them, 2020 was just not a great year. In some instances, maybe the worst year that they've experienced personally, professionally, even financially. So for that, we certainly extend our well wishes. But before we get into our topic for tonight, which I'm very excited about, I'd love to hear from you all, Angela, Cedric, and Nicole. What encouragement would you offer to our audience? Cedric?
Well, I would say that, so first of all, I'm excited because I got what I wanted for Christmas. Now, you guys maybe think I'm joking, but I'm a Christmas guy. You got to bring some good presents for me. So I'm happy. And I'm excited that we are coming to the end of 2020. It's been a great year in terms of me personally, but I know that for society as a whole, it has not been a really good year, with COVID and all these other things that have happened. It's been a different year. So I'm excited for 2021. The beautiful thing about it, guys, on December 31st at midnight, we come to January 1st. It's all brand new. And now you get to start all over. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in 2021.
Awesome. Angela, how about you?
So, what I will say is this. Years ago, I remember going through a season of life that I thought was very trying for me. And what really propelled me and pushed me through was the awareness that every day when I woke up, that day represented the first day of the rest of my life. And so to encourage anybody who's had a rough year, I would just tell you that number one, you survived it, right? Because you're still here, you're still standing. And everybody doesn't have that as a story. But the second part is this. Every day you wake up, you get a fresh start, as Cedric said, new mercies. But it's also the first day of the rest of your life. So you get to decide how you want to proceed. There's nothing we can do about what has already happened, but you do have a say in how you move forward. And so just know that we're here to support you, and I'm happy that you're on this journey with us.
Awesome. And Dr. Nicole, what encouragement would you give?
Well, like the other co-founders, I am excited about the new year. It is 2021 is coming up, and I'm always looking forward. And so I just want to encourage people that you made it through the year, right? It was rough. It was bumpy. It was challenging, but here you are facing a new season and to look forward. We don't want to live in the past. We don't want to allow the past to stumble us from moving forward, but keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on that vision. Keep your eyes on what is to come. And as they said, the best is yet to come. So make 2021 the best year ever, because we have another chance and we've been given the opportunity to do great things in this new coming year. So be encouraged and keep forward focused.
I love that. So all eyes on 2021. Sorry, so guys, listen, before we get into the show, I promise you it's going to be a great show today. I just want to share two quick announcements with you. we are really excited because we are creating a new monthly segment in 2021 where we're highlighting minority-owned businesses that are doing an outstanding job, just flat out getting it right. And we want you, our audience, to help us do that. And so as you go out and you're in the community and you're interacting with businesses, obviously you're buying products, you're having experiences, you're utilizing services. We want to hear from you about the businesses that are doing it right. So, in this day and age, people are really quick to write a bad review or to bash a business on social media when they're getting it wrong. But we want you to share with us who out there is getting it right. So tag us at Black Entrepreneurs Institute. You can go to our Facebook page, you can make a comment, or you can comment in the thread on this show. But and when we get to the replay on Sunday, comment there, but let us know what companies you're interacting with, what minority-owned businesses are getting it right. All right, so that's number one. The second announcement is that here at BEI, we pride ourselves on elevating the mindset and the money of entrepreneurs. And so we have an 8-week business boot camp, and this is the final week for enrollment because registration will close on Sunday, January 3rd at midnight. And then the boot camp launches on Tuesday, January 5th. And to give you an added incentive to enroll now, we're offering you a 30% discount through the close of registration on the 3rd. So we'll provide more details about the bootcamp at the end of the show, but I wanted to make sure that you knew about that coming and you knew about the discount so you can stick around for that. Now, on to the matter at hand, this week's show. This year, since we launched the show, we have had some absolutely amazing guests, including successful entrepreneurs, subject matter experts, and even teenpreneurs. So we thought, what better way for us to close the year by sharing what we consider to be the best of the BEI show. Now, to be fair, there's been so much gold that has been dropped in the shows that we've done. So it was really, really hard for us to choose, but we wanted to leave you with some shows and some segments that would give you actionable items that would add value to your journey. So here's what I'm going to tell you right now. Grab a pen. It is going to be absolutely great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the best of the BEI compilation.
So Marcus, what led you to becoming an entrepreneur and starting your own business?
I have a definition that I've coined for entrepreneurship, and it is filling a void in the marketplace that the marketplace is calling for consciously or subconsciously. Filling a void in the marketplace that the marketplace is calling for consciously or subconsciously. I say consciously or subconsciously because sometimes the marketplace knows what it wants and the entrepreneur agrees and delivers, and sometimes the marketplace does not know what it wants and the entrepreneur is responsible for thinking about it and delivering it as well. So what led me to open the Breakfast Club? Just that. I wanted to fill that void in the marketplace almost 20 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. And so then how did you understand what that void was or gap was?
A couple of ways. One was my own personal experience, right? Being a Houstonian, being a 30-year-old African-American male, college grad, professional, and just looking for, what was out, right? I mean, we had places in Houston that were, long-standing, and they belonged to the guard before us, the older guard, right? Mm-hmm. And we hadn't yet created our space. Additionally, just hanging out, with people in the marketplace and listening to what they were talking about, listening to what they were describing, watching what they were yearning for, watching what they were participating in. And I remember one night hanging out with a group of fellas, and this is part of the birth of the Breakfast Club. It was kind of the embryo stage, right? We were driving through Houston, and everybody in the car, and I'm just putting it in context, everybody's in the car is professional, doing well, 6 figures. We got a lawyer, we got an engineer, we got a CPA, we got pharmacists, everybody, folks doing it, right?
Right.
And so we went to hang out, have a good time. And every place we went, we talked about what we could do. We were like, we could do something like this, and with this kind of flavor, this kind of flair. And so that seemed to be the theme of the night, everywhere we went. And I don't know, it wasn't deliberate. It just came up in conversation. And so at the end of the night, we were all hungry, and we started describing what we wanted to eat, where we wanted to eat, what type of vibe we wanted, and came to the conclusion that place didn't exist, right? We wanted a nice, plush, warm, comfortable place to go and have some breakfast food that was similar to the places we had gone to, right? So we hanging out in a wine bar. We don't want to go from the cozy, quaint wine bar to this big, bright IHOP, right? It's sterile, cold, it just didn't match, right? We wanted it to be a seamless transition. So, we got to describing that place didn't exist. And so, voila, here we are. I put pen to paper and started working on it, and went back to those guys. Now, I did go back to those guys. And this is the thing about entrepreneurship that people have to understand. Went back to them and presented it to everybody. And everybody took. No, not really. Nobody took. Nobody bid. True story. Hey, nobody bid. And I learned a valuable lesson, at that point, and along my journey of trying to open the restaurant, which is, one, it ain't for everybody, and some people are not in the same place, in the same space. Some people are not of that mindset. The entrepreneur is a special kind of person, right? And so, I wanted to fill that void, and so we did. Here we are.
That is awesome. So what advice would you give those individuals who are considering entrepreneurship, whether it's in a restaurant or it's some other entrepreneur venture? What advice would you give them as they try to get started, and they may run up against friends who like the idea but don't want to support the idea, or run up into, well, I don't have any mentors that I can go to, so I'm afraid?
So the first advice I'd give them is, one, just make up in your mind that you're going to do it, right? Regardless of what other people say, feel, think, what other people do or don't do. At the beginning and the end of the day, I know people don't like when you say at the end of the day, so I'm gonna say at the beginning and the end of the day, it's really about what you have a made up mind to do. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I share with folks is this idea of, so I'm a believer that the vision that's been given to you was given to you and you alone. It is divine. It is spiritual. It is something that was given directly to you. And what I mean by that is it wasn't given to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was given to you. So it is impossible for someone to see it the way you see it, right? And so because they don't see it the way you see it, then it is illogical to expect them to feel the same way about it as you feel about it, because the picture wasn't painted for you. The vision that the creator gave to you is perfectly painted, particularly for you, specifically. You have your own painting that's been placed inside of it. And people ask me when they come to the Breakfast Club and they see the line out the door around the corner up the street, which we did before Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, by the way. Just want to get that on record. I can holler at your boy when you do that, right? Mm-hmm. We still, but okay, I'm sorry. No, and I like to say that because we live in an IG era, right? And especially when I'm talking to young entrepreneurs, I try to explain to them what the pre-IG era looked like, right? Mm-hmm. Today, if you have a good there's no reason you shouldn't be busting out the seams, right? Because we had to work hard to get national exposure in 2002, 2003 was when we got national exposure. We had to be very strategic and get a little lucky, right? We had to be good, we had to be strategic, and we had to get a little lucky. Today, man, if you got a great photographer and you can put the right pictures on IG and get the right people to click on it, you have no excuse for not being successful. If you're delivering a great product, the only excuse you have for not being great is you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. But anyway, I got off. What was I supposed to be talking about?
Advice to new entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah.
I will say this before you go there. People who are listening either live or the recorded, this section right here, rewind and listen it again, because he said your gifts is your divine and your spiritual gift alone. So don't worry about the naysayers. And that could be your wife, that could be your mother, that could be your father. You got to close your mind tightly, is what he's saying, against the naysayers. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and you're absolutely right. And look, and we call them naysayers, we call them haters, and I don't use, they're just not privy to the information, right? You operate differently when you have all of the information, right? So, when people see the line out the door, up the street, around the block, they ask me, did I ever think? And I'll stop them. Yes, I did think this. I thought it wholeheartedly. I believed it wholeheartedly. I saw the picture. I saw you sitting in that seat before you even got here. And that's how clear you have to see that picture. And that's how much you have to fully believe in that picture. And I'm a big believer. So people who are watching now, right? Mm-hmm. This is a little exercise that I do. People who are watching now, close your eyes, right? And see your vision, right? Now, open your eyes, and I want you to tell me what the person next to you saw. I'll wait.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. You can only see what was given directly to you. So you can't get happy about him opening, a drive-in car wash. You can't get happy about him opening, a whale knuckle potato chips, because it wasn't your idea, and you never saw it. Right. And so, you just have to be mindful of the fact that it's a gift that was given directly to you, specifically to you. And here's the kicker, because it was given directly to you and specifically to you, you are responsible for it. And you're the only one that's responsible for it. It ain't them. It ain't your sister didn't help you. They're not responsible for that. It ain't because your wife didn't help you. She wasn't responsible for that. I mean, I agree the spouses have a role and responsibility. It ain't because your brother didn't do it. It ain't because your homeboys never came. It ain't even because your mama didn't back you. That's not their responsibility. What was revealed to you is your responsibility and your responsibility only. And when it's all said and done, when the question is asked, what did you do with the talent that I gave you? You can't put it on your mama. Ain't nobody gonna hear that.
You preaching tonight. I love that. That's
imagine it like this, right? Imagine it like this. I see the way I see entrepreneurship and the way I see gifts, visions that are given to folks. I see it as the rest of the creation, right? And everybody has their role, their responsibility, and their assignment that they were given. So birds have to go and pollinate, right? In order that food is produced, right? Sun has to give off vitamin D in order that we get it, right? Trees have to give off the air so we can breathe. Everybody has their role and responsibility. If the trees don't give off the air so we can breathe oxygen, they can't blame it on the sun. They can't blame it on the bees. They were the only one that was responsible for that, right? So everybody has their role and their responsibility in the creation. Now, one does contribute and help the other, but you still have an expectation to produce, regardless. All right, I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Where we go?
Look, this is good stuff right here. I feel like you're stepping on my toes a little bit, but I'm going. So last question, because we want to honor and respect your time. What would you say is the one thing that you know today that you wish you had known when you first became an entrepreneur?
I would have to say that one thing is, and it's kind of funny. I wish I had known that, as much as I believe it was possible, I wish I had known how much it was possible, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Meaning there are levels to what we believe, right? It takes the same amount of faith to open a $5 business as it does to open a $500 million business, right?
Right.
But I didn't know that, right? There were things that I was not able to do, that I thought I wasn't able to do when we first opened, that, 10 years later, I was like, man, I didn't know I could have done that. you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just wish I had known exactly what was possible. Meaning we've done well for ourselves, but there was some opportunities that were missed. Well, we could have. I'll give you a perfect example. When we first opened, there are 2 lots right across the street from the Breakfast Club. It's full city blocks. I thought that was out of my reach, right? Because it was it started out as a $1.5 million deal. I think at the end of it ended up being like a $3 million deal. I thought that was out of my reach. I didn't know that it was well within my reach. I didn't know how to structure that deal. I didn't know how to get that type of deal done. I didn't know how to believe in getting that type of deal done. Not because I didn't know how to believe, I just didn't have the knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I had known that it was possible to get some of those big deals done that I thought weren't within the realm of possibility, not because of not having faith, just not having knowledge.
Yeah. And how did it make you feel once you did it? Because you have those lots now, right?
No, I'm talking about these are the ones that are across the street.
Oh,
you're talking about buildings. I'm talking about blocks, baby. You see what I'm saying? you understand the difference?
Yes.
I understood and believed buildings. I didn't grasp blocks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach out.
I'm sorry. Do we have time? Because I gotta say this. I gotta say this, right? Because I completely missed this, because we talked about being in the pandemic and all that kind of good stuff. As an entrepreneur, you have to understand that your role is to, quite frankly, figure it out, right? It's a little different, right?
Right.
When this pandemic hit, my mindset, well, one, I had the fortune of having great mentors who had taught me an exercise of, when you see a scenario, roll it out both ways, right? Roll it out best case, roll it out worst case. So in December, I actually started thinking about what would happen if this city shut down as a result of this virus. I started thinking about this when I saw it on TV in Wuhan in December. So I started preparing my mind for the possibility of it happening. Not that I'm calling it towards me, right? I just need to be mindful of the fact that, hey, this might happen. And lo and behold, 3 months later, it actually happened, right? But as an entrepreneur, you have to recognize the gems in those moments, right? There is, and while we're in the middle of this, and people are woe is me, man, open your eyes and really sift through what's going on, because the marketplace is talking to us. You just have to pay attention to what it's saying. This is a realignment in the marketplace, right? It's a shift, and you have to pay attention to what marketplace is going to be calling for, what it's asking for, what opportunities are going to be presented, and move forward with those. The entrepreneur has to be excited about what's on the other side of this, not wallow in the middle of this. Yeah, I got to figure out how to guide this ship through the waters, but I also have to be mindful, man, there's a horizon on the other side of this, right? Once this storm goes down, there's a big old, horizon with sun shining and all of the works. And so you have to know that it's on the other side, and you have to, be working towards it. And, being an entrepreneur means that you find out how to maneuver. So we're doing things today that we didn't do 6 months ago, right? Our online ordering process is a result of being in the middle of this pandemic. Our product sales online have skyrocketed as a result of being in the middle of this pandemic. It's not about freezing up and saying, what I'm gonna do. It's about it's about freeing yourself to say, what am I going to do? This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to make it. You get this, you get that, or you roll on that side, you roll on that side, and this is how we're going to make it through that. So I didn't want to leave without putting that in there, that in pivotal moments, you have to learn how to pivot.
Now, last week on our show, we talked about how branding is often confused with logos. And while the logo is a part of the brand, and we get that, we see a lot of entrepreneurs spend a lot of time obsessing over their logo. Can you into what are some of the often missed components of branding that businesses fail to consider?
Yeah, I think this is a good one because you're right, Damien. People do think that your logo is your brand. So when they hear branding, sometimes people won't come to me right off because they think, oh, I'm not ready for a logo yet, so she's not for me, right? But actually, branding is all encompassing. It's not just about your logo. Logo is only one part of the branding. You're exactly right about that. It's just that one component. Your brand, actually, I say there's 5 things that make up your actual brand. And those 5 things all start with a V. So the first thing is your vision. Who you are and where you're going as a company, even if it's just you as a solopreneur. Where are you going? What's the vision for the business that you're starting? Even if it's a personal brand, what's the vision for your personal brand? You have a vision. Now you have something that you want to articulate to the marketplace and why they should do business with you. Then I think the second thing is value. Once you know where you're going and why you're even having that idea to have a business, you want to be able to communicate your value in 2 ways. One, the value that you add to the marketplace. So what value do you add? What is it that person will pay you for? The second thing is what you value, what you believe in. So I think value is twofold. What you believe in as a company or a personal brand, and then what you offer to the marketplace. And that third V is your village. Who are the people who make up your customers? If you were going to hire somebody, what type of people are you looking for to hire? Who are the supporters, like the people you want in your corner, your champions? That's your village. Because when you think about it today, most people who are starting a business or who are on social media who want to have a personal brand, they're going to go on social media. People are going to start liking or what? Following them, right? When you're following somebody, you as the person that they're following, you automatically put yourself in the seat of a leader. Whether you want to be or not, social media sets you up. If you want a following, it sets you up to be a leader. So to me, your followers are also in your village. Because these are the people who are saying, I want to know more about what you're saying. I want to subscribe to you. I want to be connected to you in some way. So the brand that you want to establish, the people who are around you are also a part of your brand. So that's your village. Then the fourth B is your voice. What words do you use to communicate your value that we talked about earlier? What messaging do you have around your company or your personal brand? What's the voice that you want people to hear? What sound, what tones, what words do you choose to describe yourself? That's your voice. What the people hear in the marketplace or see or read about you in the marketplace, that's what makes up your voice. Then the last component is the thing that people have often put first, as you mentioned, Damien. That's the visual identity. That's where your logo comes in. It's not the end. So when I'm working with a client, when they come to me and they say, oh, I want a logo, I back them all the way up and I take them back to that first V. Until we get to establish all of that, I don't know what I'm designing a logo for anyway, right? So I can help you establish your visual identity until you get your voice, your value, your vision, your messaging, in your village. Now I can help you with your visual identity. And that's where your logo, your fonts, your colors that make up the look and feel of your brand. That's where that all comes together.
Wow.
Yes, as you know, we're the Black Entrepreneurs Institute. So all of us are in entrepreneurship. And of course, we work with other entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we hear often is entrepreneurs that have products and services, but they say things such as, I don't want to be salesy, or I don't like sales. And so being a sales professional and a leader in sales, what would you say and how would you encourage entrepreneurs that are really struggling with the mindset of what sales are and what they can do for their business?
No, Angela, so don't listen to them. If they come up like that, Angela, don't listen to them. Because, at the end of the day, I heard Cedric said it earlier, sales makes the world go around, right? Could you think of anything that has been done, any kind of transaction that has happened that didn't involve sales, right? You think of, the shirt you're wearing. Somebody had to sell the cotton to get that. You think about the necklace around your neck. Somebody had to sell the silver. It's all about sales. Everything you do, the products do your hair, that's sales. So sales is a great thing because sales is nothing but a transference of feelings, right? So in order to sell, you're just taking how you feel about something or someone and selling that ideal concept to somebody else. And that's all it is. So when you deal with sales, as long as you believe in what you're selling, you believe in the services and products you're providing, Angela, you can actually take that and transfer that feeling onto another person. That's all about selling. So believe in what you do, believe in your products, your service, your company. And if you do that, selling will get you a long way. So never believe people that say that sells you or what that is. Sales makes the world go around.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I'll be truly transparent. For years, I struggled with sales, and it's only been probably the last 4 or 5 I've gotten more comfortable with them. But often when I hear that, it's because people have had a bad experience in sales. And so maybe then that's that second part of that. How would you advise someone to get past that?
Yeah, well, you know what? All salespeople are not created equal, right? So anything on any kind of spectrum, as you bring any type of situation, you're going to have people representing something in the wrong way. I mean, there's always people that don't go through the traditional sales programs and techniques and training that they need. And, you come in there like a used car salesman, right? So you got to make sure you come in there, understand customer needs, you be a great listener to what the customer is saying, you understand exactly what they do, and you match those needs, right, to a solution that you have. And at the same time, Angela, if you feel that you don't have the right product or service to meet that customer needs, then you consult them and tell them that, hey, you know what? I'm not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. I'm going to let you know that my product or my service does not suit your needs, and I'm willing to, pass you on to another salesman that may have that need. The problem with salespeople that try to push products or do things unethically is those that give the profession a bad name. But if you wanted to a really good salesman like Cedric LaFleur, you'll be fine. So that's probably the painful one.
If you could give them 2 things that differentiate successful sales pros from unsuccessful salespeople, just things that will help them understand how to be that successful sales pro, what would 2 or 3 things be?
Yeah, so I the biggest thing, Cedric, and you brought this up when you was introducing me to the thing, is being a good listener. Successful salespeople are good listeners. Some people, Cedric, because listening or you sell through asking. You don't sell through telling. Most people think you can say, no. You sell through asking, and you typically know the answer to the question, but you try to direct the customer down the path you're trying to go. Some people listen to understand, and others listen to respond. You hear what I said, Cedric?
Right.
Some people listen to understand, and others listen to respond. So this is wait for you. I can't wait till this person shut up so I can tell. You ain't even listening to what they're saying. You just trying to they can be quiet and you can respond, and that's a very ineffective way to sell. And so listening is a great trait of a great salesperson. The other thing, Cedric, is just being a hard worker, hustle. Effort is so critical as the good salespeople versus the unsuccessful salespeople. I tell you, Cedric, when I was selling in New York City, I was going into the hospital when the other sales reps were coming out of the hospital. So at 4:00, I was the one going. He said, "What you going?" So other people coming out trying to get happy hour. They're trying to beat the traffic going home. Mm-hmm. I was going into the hospital because I know there was more to be done. So hard work ethic is so important to us. I tell you, when I travel my salespeople now, they better work me to death because they be like, "It's 3:00." I'd be like, 3:00? Are you? What you mean? Are you ready to go to lunch?
You know they're trying to get that PP lunch.
Yeah, exactly. At 3:00, that should be lunchtime, right? Because that ain't the end of the day. And I have to tell my people, yo, let's hustle. And anytime you people listening on the phone, if you work with your boss or your boss's boss or bosses, work him or her to death. Work him or her to death. Do not take a short day when you're with your boss. And I take that same work ethic, and that's what it's all about. So the hustle, Cedric, the grind is so important. And the third thing, you said 2 or 3. The third thing for me, Cedric, is making mistakes. Good salespeople make a bunch of mistakes. You just think of the average, baseball player that hits 350 a year. 350, that means 3.5 times out of 10 or 6.5 times he's getting out. But 350 is a great batting average for a great player. And you got to realize making mistakes is what it's all about, because if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing enough. And if you try to stay within that zone of making mistakes, that means you're not growing. And making mistakes mean you're growing. Now, you need to learn from the mistakes or learn from the others, but you got to make mistakes. So, great listener, making mistakes is so important. And then grinding. You got to grind. So, because anybody can be outsmart you.
Right.
Somebody outwork you. You got to look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm not giving it enough. That's easy to do, is outwork somebody, or easier than to outsmart them. I'll take a hard worker any day over a smart worker, because smart workers try to cut corners, and that's not a good.
I believe that leaders are readers, and so I would love to sort of take me through some of the books that you read that have been game changers for you in your career.
Oh, absolutely. I love reading. Typically what I do, and I've fallen off on this a little bit because it's got busy, but I read a business book a month, and then a happy book a month. So I'm usually on a plane driving and flying around the city. So it's a business book, good book. Business book, good book. So I try to trade them off to get a little, little relief from the business mode all the time. But I tell you, in it's different books. So from a sales perspective, I'm a Zig Ziglar guy, all up and down. So if you got anything with Zig Ziglar name on it, God bless his soul, he's passed away. But I'm a Zig Ziglar guy. But if you talk about sales, there's a couple of books you can read. Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. Spin, S-P-I-N, Sell by Neil Rackham. The Little Red Book of Selling by Jeff Gittimore is a good one. Mm-hmm. So that's from a sales perspective. And then if you want to get into business and strategy, you get into Good Is Not Enough by Keith Weiss. Good Is Not Enough. That's a great book. I know him personally. He's a good guy. What Makes It Great by Dennis Kimbrough. That's a good book. Good to Great by, I think it's Jim Collins. I know it's Collins, but Jim Collins, Good to Great. The Blue Ocean Strategy. Great book. If you want to get, outside the mind of the normal stuff, Blue Ocean Strategy is a good book. And then if you talk about leadership and leadership only, you got to go with John Maxwell. With John Maxwell, I know the 360 degree leader. I'm down with that. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I'm down with that one. Everybody communicates, but only few connect. I read all of his books. You can't tell me nothing about John Maxwell from a leadership perspective. I dive into those. So those are some good books. I mean, you got more out there that can definitely read, Mojo and other books. But those are the ones that come top of mind for me. And I think you get a lot out of them if you just, put yourself and commit yourself to them.
You birthed this product out of a difficult time. I think you said that you were being bullied, and then when you looked around, lots of people, and even in your family, didn't really like their natural hair, and so I just love that you stepped out to decide to make a difference. Have you, since you've launched Lexi, have you experienced any sort of negative feedback or feelings from others about the work that you've done, and if so, how have you dealt with that, with the naysayers?
Yes, through anything that you do, there's always going to be those people who are not going to believe in you, who, whatever the case may be. So I definitely do come across that. And, sometimes it could be one of my own friends, or it could be somebody in my family who may say slick things. But at the end of the day, I don't really care what those people have to say, because I know that I'm doing something good by spreading positivity.
Lexi, as Angela says, we work with business owners, and I love what you said. And this month we've been talking about sales and marketing. And so when you think about you and your product and your branding, what are some of the unique characteristics that set you apart from the rest of this big industry that we know of Black hair care products?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not just selling hair care products. I'm selling self-love. I'm selling self. It's just more than products. It's just more than a book. It's a message behind it. It's something that a lot of people can take from. Like I was saying earlier, we have social media, and in today's society, they set such high standards. And, you know, some women, they spend a lot of money trying to set the high standards, or some people, you know, they may not feel confident. So my whole brand is not just hair products and books and all many more stuff to come, but it's just really letting people know, just love yourself no matter what, because you have to have that confidence to go out. Like, if I didn't have confidence, I wouldn't be able to sit up here and tell you guys my story. I wouldn't be able to go out there and talk to people about my business. So it's really important that you just believe in yourself even when nobody else does.
All right, so we hope you enjoyed and got value from that Best of the BEI segment tonight. You know, friends, it means the world to us that you tune in each week. And so we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, for engaging, for sharing, for starting watch parties to support the work of the Black Entrepreneurs Institute. You know, at the beginning of the show, I promised that we would save some time to share with you about the BEI Bootcamp, which is coming up again on this coming Tuesday. So, Angela, I'm going to hand it over to you to share a little bit about the logistics of the bootcamp, and even share with them about the webinar that we have coming up tomorrow.
Oh, thank you so much, Damien. Man, wasn't it just great to see some of the clips and just to see how we've even grown as hosts, as presenters, and how we've modeled building a business right in front of the eyes of our viewers, as well as those who work with us. So if you are interested in learning more and getting more information, or just coming to learn how to grow your business in general, we have a great opportunity for you. So we are hosting a business growth webinar for entrepreneurs. Our next webinar is Wednesday, tomorrow. That's December 30th at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 p.m. Then our final webinar is Sunday, January 3rd at 1 p.m. Don't come at 1 a.m. We won't be there. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, here's what we know. Who you learn from matters. And again, the four of us are entrepreneurs, we're business owners, we're coaches, and we're mentors. Every time we host a program, every time we talk to people, there are certain things that show up in every area of growth that's needed. And it's called mentoring, it's called support, accountability, expertise. And we offer all that in our business bootcamp. Now, we target minority business owners. We've never made that a secret, but let me be perfectly clear. Any and every entrepreneur is welcome in the Black Entrepreneurs Institute Business Bootcamp. And any type of business is welcome, because business growth is business growth. And I can tell you unequivocally, even myself, as a person who thought I knew what I was doing when I started this, I have grown tremendously just by being in the presence of my three co-founders. So again, expertise, mentorship, someone who cares about you, that values you and your business, and is looking to bring the best out of you. If you're looking for that, I sincerely encourage you to enroll before our enrollment closes this weekend.
Awesome. And Dr. Nick, why don't you share with our audience a little bit about what we cover in the bootcamp, just to give them some perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would be the first to say that this is really an intensive boot camp. Just like if you were going to work out and you have a boot camp, like we are giving you the goal to actually put to work and put to action. So we're going to take you from the beginning and really making sure you have the right systems in place. We're starting out with laying a solid foundation. Do you have a viable business plan? Do you have a business bank account? Do you know your market? How are you? What is your vision? What is your mission? So these are some of the things that are essential to understanding where your business is going to grow. Then we'll take you through activities to to understand what your niche is. Who is your market? Who are you selling to? And making sure that you're targeting the right people that you're desiring to serve. Then we'll look into different things as your branding. How are you showing up in your market? What are your colors looking like? Do you represent the values that you perceive to have in your business? And then for those like me that may have been rocky in the beginning with sales, we're going to tell you how to improve your sales and negotiations and how to make sure you have multiple streams of income within your business so you can move your comma and increase your elevate your mindset and your money. And then we'll talk about all of the pitfalls. We have 4 entrepreneurs that have been through it, right? So you don't have to make the same mistakes that we did or that's common to many entrepreneurs. We're going to share with you the pitfalls of entrepreneurship and then not only share, but how you can plan and overcome them to be the best business owner that you desire to be, to have a sustainable business that will last over time where you're elevating your mindset and your money.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Nick. And one of the things that really separates the boot camp from many other courses out there is the fact that we bring practical application to it. So Cedric, why don't you share with them about the practical hands-on pieces that they'll experience?
Yeah, and first of all, Angela talked about we grew in the boot camp. Angela, I thinned down during the boot camp. Oh, you talking about mindset growth? No, sorry about that.
I was talking about your wallet too.
Okay, all right. I'm just clarifying. All right. So now, a lot of places you go, you get a lot of theory. You get a lot of people talking, telling you what to do. And we're going to do some of that as well. But here's the difference. We're also going to now make you do it, right? So now it's not about just saying, I can do. Now you have to do it. So you're going to go through a sales training. Damien's going to lead us through sales training, how to sell. Okay. And then we're going to come back and you're going to do some practical application here. We're going to take you through a sales simulation and you have to then sell your product or your service or your offering or whatever it is. And you're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of eyes looking right on you. All eyes on me while you're doing it, right? It's going to be fun though. It's right. Safe environment. The same thing with negotiation. You may say, man, I don't know how to negotiate. Well, that's okay. This is why you get into the boot camp, because we're going to teach you all the things that you need to understand how to successfully negotiate. But then you're going to go through a simulation exercise where you're actually going to negotiate a contract or negotiate a product. Okay. So, at the end of the day, you can go to any type of training and service you want to, but if you're not asked to apply it and show that you can apply it, then you really don't know if you've learned. When you leave the boot camp, you're going to know how to sell because you're going to do it. And when you leave the boot camp, you're going to know how to negotiate because you're going to do it. And that's going to be the difference in taking your business from here to here. So I'm looking forward to working with you in the boot camp. So don't even think about it. Just go ahead and get on the webinar and then go ahead and just sign up.
Right on. So friends, we're here to help you elevate your mindset and your money. Next week's show is going to be a great show because we're going to be talking about our 2021 vision, and you should be thinking about where you're going for next year anyway, right? This is the time to be planning and getting yourself positioned to thrive and prosper in 2021. So we want to thank you for viewing. Thank you for riding with us for all this year as we've developed this show to bring value to you. We want to thank everyone in the EL community, certainly to Paul for giving us this platform. Stick around because the EL candlelighting is coming up where we hold a space for peace, love, and hope in the world. But thanks for tuning in and for watching us, my friends. And we will see you on the other side in 2021. Bye for now.